Could you kind of talk to us a little bit about what's going on with China investing in big tech?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Now, a lot of people think, Bill Gates, he's worth what, $100 billion, something like that. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. How do you buy off a guy that rich? They buy him off in the financial sense. They also appeal to their ego. But there's also this kind of weird attraction that some people in Silicon Valley have to the authoritarian model of China. I quote this computer scientist from MIT in the 1970s who says that computer programmers, in a sense, can develop this God complex because they get to design, using code, they get to design their own world. If you look at Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg designed that world exactly the way that he wanted that world to exist. And what this professor Weizenbaum warned is that it can lead tech people to have this sort of sense that they should be godlike in other areas of life as well. So part of the appeal to the big tech titans is not just money. It's also this sense that you have this Chinese government, and they'll use words like it's very efficient, right? Or they get things done, or they're very responsive to things. Well, if you don't have to worry about a legislature, if you don't have to worry about an independent judicial system, of course you can be that way. So it's kind of a combination of motives, but it's pretty straightforward. Bill Gates, the guys that founded Google, are essentially told if you want access to the Chinese market, which is, of course, the biggest market in the world by far, you have to play by a certain set of rules that we set up. And once they have them hooked, once they have them, they then use that to pressure these tech titans to give them things that they want. So Bill Gates, for example, Microsoft, going back to the 90s, wanted to get into China. The Chinese government said, yeah, we'll buy your computer software, we'll buy those things, but you have to, first of all, create engineering jobs, move engineering jobs out of the Pacific Northwest and set them up in China. And they agreed. So 3,000 jobs, engineering jobs, went from the United States to China. That was part of the package deal. And then today, Bill Gates does all kinds of things with China. He invests in companies. There's a company called BYD that's developing missile guidance technologies for the Chinese military. He was involved in a Chinese venture to build small nuclear reactors that could have applications for submarines, aircraft carriers, all kinds of things. That was eventually stopped under the Trump administration by the Justice Department on national security grounds. But these guys are doing, big favors for the Chinese military, the Chinese intelligence service with their dollars, and they don't seem to care. They're smart people. They know what they're doing. They know the implications of it, but they just don't seem to care.
So that you think they do know exactly what they're doing. And I just want to reiterate, Bill Gates is helping the Chinese with their nuclear program.
Correct.
That's a problem.
Yes, that's it. You're a very understated man, I can tell. Yeah, no, it is a problem. And I'll give you this example to me, which demonstrates how they know what they're doing. So Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook and the guys that founded Google decided in 2016 that in cooperation with the Chinese government, they were going to take this underwater cable and they were going to link Hong Kong with San Francisco. And they hired a Chinese tech company linked to the military to do it. And this was going on for 3 years. Finally, the FBI and the Justice Department said, no, you can't do this. This will create, in their words, an unprecedented opportunity for the Chinese intelligence services to spy on Americans. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, Shawn, and assume that Mark Zuckerberg probably knows a little bit more about technology than guys working at the FBI. If they knew the implications of this, which seem obvious, I think, to anybody, certainly Mark Zuckerberg and the guys that founded Google knew. They just didn't care. Or they explain away in their mind that China's not really a threat, which I don't know how you do that.
It seems like all these big tech guys favor the Chinese. And I've heard you mentioned before that the leadership at Google has turned down working with U.S. intelligence agencies. However, they seem to have no problem working with Chinese intelligence agencies.
Yeah, I mean, it's remarkable. There was a petition drive within Google that got a lot of signatures to say we don't want to do any Pentagon work. We don't want to work with the U.S. military. But at the same time, they are involved in sponsoring research in China at 2 research laboratories into artificial intelligence. And obviously, AI has massive application to the military. Both of the labs, so this is Google financing research labs in China that are known to be linked to the Chinese military. So they are, in effect, subsidizing China's race in artificial intelligence against us. But at the same time, Google employees say, we don't want to work with the Pentagon. We find that morally repugnant. It's remarkable and it's frightening. And it's unfortunately not just unique to Google or to Bill Gates. That seems to be a widespread attitude among a lot of people in the tech world. And for the life of me, I can't explain what they must be thinking.
I mean, President of China has said that the winner of the race to artificial intelligence will lead to the new superpower of the world. And all these tech companies are helping China. What is Elon Musk doing?
Oh, it's a great question. And you're exactly right. President Xi of China says whoever wins the race in artificial intelligence will seize the commanding heights, as he says, of the tech war, which is how he defines the competition with the United States. So it's really important for China. Elon Musk, honestly, when I found this, I was kind of disappointed. I like Elon Musk. He's an interesting guy with interesting ideas. He's obviously very smart. Built Tesla in the United States, and actually was pretty critical of China for a while on Twitter about their tariffs on U.S. imports into their country. He was critical of them on censorship issues. And then something happened. And what happened was the Chinese government said, hey, we'll build you a factory and we'll create it quickly. We'll build it in less than a year and we'll let you produce massive amounts of Tesla cars. And Elon Musk said, I'm on board. So this was all financed with the help of the Chinese government. And so you have this situation now where if you look at when Tesla talks about to shareholders where the future of the company is, where the growth is coming from, why the projected sales is going to go like this is because of China. It's not because of the United States. And the problem is, Shawn, that Elon Musk is involved obviously with Tesla. He also created SpaceX, the company that launches spy and military satellites. They share common software. They share common personnel, engineering personnel. And what's already happening is now that Tesla is in China, they built them the factory. It's now manned and run by people that are loyal to the Chinese government. The fear is that Tesla software that's also used in SpaceX will, of course, be in Chinese hands if it's not already.
Oh, wow. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's Chinese law that any development in the space, in the business, Chinese military has 100% access to.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that correct?
Yeah, they call it civilian military fusion.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.